Well, these things don't sound like much today, but back in those days, I can assure you they were big. There was a charge for toll calls outside of Boone County to Cincinnati or even to Erlanger. And this presented a problem for the company. And most people didn't like to pay tolls. But we were able to establish special extended area service for customers in Florence. And then towards the end of the 1960s, all of Boone County had extended area service. Consolidated had improved mobile telephone service, IMTS. And this was the first IMTS in Kentucky and the first in Greater Cincinnati. Before this, on mobile telephones, you had to go through an operator and use a push-to-talk handset. With IMTS, you had dial two-way service. When they built the tower by the telephone building on Girard Street, it was high enough that they had to have a light on it. And so we were able to, the engineers worked on it, were able to get low enough that we didn't have to have the light, but could still make the coverage that we needed for the telephones. In 1967, there was a program, Telephony, Tomorrow in Telephony. What will be the role of communications in the 21st century and how it will affect our lives? Dr. Norris Johnson of the University of Cincinnati Sociology Department discussed some of these things. A simple phone call could bring any information you wish in pictures or diagrams. You would not need to be near where you work, shop, or go to school. He talked of the leisure time and how we would use it. Well, this was almost 40 years ago, and all of this has come true. But now, Dr. Johnson lives on the same street as I do, and we play golf together. So when I found this in one of my gems I found, I called him and read some of it to him and asked him if he'd ever heard that. And he said, well, I think I have a copy of that around here someplace. In May 1967, the 100 millionth telephone was installed in the United States. President Johnson talked to governors throughout the country simultaneously. I was president of the Kentucky Telephone Association that year. So along with the vice president of Southern Bell in Kentucky and the president of General Telephone Company of Kentucky, we were in Governor Breathitt's office for that historic call. The rapid growth in Boone County, the airport, the industrial park, made it evident that a small company could just not keep up. Several large independent telephone companies wanted to buy Consolidated. But Bud and his family were the majority stockholders, and they thought Cincinnati Bell would be the best solution. But that was not easy to accomplish. Long-standing regulations and agreements had made it difficult for Bell companies to buy independent telephone companies. But they were able to work it out. And in May 1967, Cincinnati Bell bought all of the Consolidated stock. 3 shares of Cincinnati Bell stock for each share of Consolidated. Consolidated had 12,000 telephones at the time. And Cincinnati Bell surrounded our territory on all sides except on the Ohio River. So it would be good for our customers, good for our stockholders, and good for our employees. And then Bud passed away in February of 1968. So it was good that he got this sale completed while he was still able to take care of it. Bud's mother, brother, and sister all lived in other areas, and none of them were in the telephone business. Consolidated Telephone Company continued to operate as a separate subsidiary until August the 1st, 1969, when it was merged into Cincinnati Bell. In September 1968, contracts were signed for the new telephone building in Florence. It was a $433,000 building to house new dial equipment. And that dial equipment went into service the next year. It was a 1-story, 80 by 80 foot building, and almost immediately after it was completed, they started work on the 2nd floor of the building. With the merger, our employees were pretty apprehensive about going to town and being lost in a company with 5,000 employees. But nearly everybody stayed with the company and went to Cincinnati Bell. And most of it turned out good for everybody. There were many opportunities for advancement, and many of the employees were promoted, which they probably could not have been done in a small organization. As for me, Bill McAvoy was right 20 years earlier in 1949 when he said it was a great opportunity with a growing company. I brought a few things over here that I've laid out that somebody might be interested in looking at. Got a few pictures. There's an old ad from 1937 in the Boone County Recorder, and I had that Boone County Recorder because that was a flood issue. That was a small paper that was printed because of the flood, and when I was looking at that, when Bernice found me looking at things, I saw here's a Consolidated Telephone Company ad. I have the last annual report that we had and the last telephone directory, and there are 2 books there that I put paper clips on to so you could see the part that belongs to Consolidated. So you're welcome to look at any of that. Thank you.
Mr. When did you retire? And was from it Consolidated or Cincinnati Bell?
No, I retired from Cincinnati Bell in 1988.
Oh, okay. And why did they call Honolulu?
Please?
In 1958, you said the first call they made was to Honolulu. Why? Why Honolulu?
Well, Bud knew the president of the Honolulu Hawaiian Telephone Company. And so it was a dinner meeting in here for the Rotary Club. They called out there and talked to this man, and he had just come back from lunch and told him how nice the weather was out there.
Yeah.
So I think that was the reason.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No one else had a question? Not Mr. Roots. I won't ask you to come back up here. I should have just asked you to stay. This is a token from the society thanking you for coming to be our speaker tonight. I think everyone enjoyed it very much. So, thank you.
I appreciate this very much, and I know it'll go right on my desk. I still have a desk.
And I guess if there isn't any other, and no one has any business to discuss, anything they want to ask, then we'll adjourn the meeting.
I have a thing.
Okay.
Don't forget, if anybody wants to take part in the Memorial Day Parade, and one of our drivers is going to have a car, Mr. Robinson's going to be in the parade, and we have some older cars, and we have some old equipment. And the Presnell's grandson and one of his friends are going to carry your banner.
Okay, and what time does that start?
You have to be, it's going to start off at 10, but if you want to be in with our unit and walk or have an old car or something, you should be there about 9:30 over at the Boone County High School.
At Boone County High School, and that is on the 29th,
That's
right?
correct. And our number will be 500, our unit number.
Okay, everyone get that? Okay, thank you. I meant to bring that up. I'm sorry, I forgot. So, I'll just adjourn the meeting then, and you all can have time to look at Mr. Oots' pictures and his memorabilia. Our July meeting, as I said, we'll have the Pat Scott night at the ball game. But since everyone wanted the opportunity to possibly actually get down and sit down and talk with Pat, on our regular meeting night, which is the 20th, right? We're going to meet at the Walton Park. Pat is a Waltonian, and have her there that you all can just sit down and chit-chat with her, the way we did with Dr. Huey a few years ago. So, actually there's 2 July events, but that will be our meeting and our opportunity to speak with Pat. Okay, thank everyone for coming.